Mic check, mic check. What's going on, world? You already know it's your boy SB, and I'd like to welcome you back to episode 78 of season 5 of the Roll Up Podcast. Before we get started, man, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all that's been locked into the campaign this year. I'm going to save my individual thank yous for the season finale, but I just want to say, thank you to everybody as a whole, man, for helping the platform grow this year. Whether you bought merch, whether you bought books, whether you subscribed to the campaign, whether you told the homies about the movement, man, just thank you for allowing this platform to be a beacon of positivity along your journey. But first, as always, man, before we dive into the conversation, we got to handle some business first. I want to extend the invitation to all who haven't done so already to subscribe to the content on all platforms. Whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, be sure to drop a subscription to show some love to the campaign. The goal for 2025 is to amass 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you help me reach this goal, because I know with this new content, we're going to have no problem hitting that mark with ease. Also, be sure to follow content on social media at The Roll Up Podcast. Be sure to check out the Season 5 merch collection that's available for a couple more weeks. It's going to end on December 31st. And that Season 6 merch collection, I don't know what the hell is going on right there, but the Season 6 merch collection is going to drop on January 1st. So make sure you'll be on the lookout for that as well. Make sure you go grab a copy of Here's the Truth and You Deserve Better. And book number 3 is on the way as well. But now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into today's conversation. There's one thing that we can all agree on. The world has officially lost its marbles. From the many events that are happening across the seas to the decisions being made on our home front, it seems as if the world has lost its sense of direction. While it seems that all hope is lost, I have come with light in these times of darkness. The words that I'm about to speak in this episode may upset you, but within that frustration lies the answer to all of our problems. Before we can put the task on anybody to look after us, we have to set the example. But before we dive into the feather ruffling, let's break down today's quote to set the tone. Today's quote is by legendary NFL coach Vince Lombardi, and the quote reads, "Leaders are made, they are not born. They are made by hard effort, which is the price which all of us must pay to achieve any goal." Vince Lombardi is one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time. Mostly known for his on-the-field accolades, it is his philosophies off the field that hold the answers in which we seek. Team sports have been the bridge between communities since its conception. The locker room has always been a place where both men and women can gather amongst their comrades and create bonds that will last in eternity. While words may come across one way, the life we lead is the one that speaks the loudest volume. To be a leader on and off the field, one must be able to control their emotions and focus on the next play. When the huddle is called, there is no outside chatter or sidebar conversation. It's all eyes on the captain of the team to make sure that everybody is on the same page. It is the duty of the field general to call out all formation changes and audibles to make the necessary adjustments when the opponent shows something favorable, or to exploit a weakness in the play design. While those qualities are important, it is the actions of the general that supersede his voice in the locker room and on the playing field. When the team wins, it's the leader of the team that gets the spotlight. But just as they get the spotlight when everything is going right, they also get 98% of the blame when the game is fumbled. The wins are important, but it's how the leader can adjust to adversities after a loss that can make or break a team. If the leader is a sore loser and complains about the play calling, constantly calling out players and etc., there will be conflict in the locker room. But if the captain understands his role, he understands that humility is a part of the territory. He understands that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He understands that his action can cause both unity and division. Real leaders stand tall through adversities and cheer up their teammates when the time is called. They also put the team on their back when necessary to make sure that the victory is won. To tie that into today's conversation, We have to set the tone in our lives in order for the outside world to become better. We all have to do our part to do our part every day by continuously spreading positivity and love throughout all transactions. Whether it's pursuing a calling, climbing the ranks at your job, or just bettering yourself along your personal journey. There are people who look up to you. There are people that celebrate your accomplishments and bragging to their peers about how they know someone doing something amazing. There are people in your life right now that are inspired by your testimony, and you secretly are giving them the strength to keep going. For me, it's my family. It wasn't until recently that I've come to grips that their life outweighs the need of mine. I've come to the realization that although they aren't able to communicate, they are still able to pick up on my body language. So if there's going to be anybody that shows them right from wrong, it's my job as a father to set a great example for them. It's our responsibility as parents to lay down the blueprint in which they will handle their daily moves. They will know what hard work looks like because they will look at the example we provide for them, and one day they will want to mimic and reciprocate that love that we show them at home. For you, it may be different. Maybe you don't have kids that look up to you. But remember this, social media has become a safe haven for a lot of people. You may have somebody on your follower list that wants to start their own campaign but are unsure how to get from point A to point B. But by paying attention to your grind, they have become students of your game and are eager to learn from your trials and tribulations. You may have a coworker that's close to you and you share a closer bond than the one you share with your own blood. They may see you fight battles that no one else knows about. But because of your resilience, you have brought out the best in them and they proceed to carry out their version of who you were to them. If the world we live in is going to get any better, it has to start with the man or woman in the mirror. It starts with understanding that you aren't perfect, but the knowledge and knowing that you can always get better is the key. It starts with being kind to one another and being the energy in which you seek. If the world we love and cherish so much is going to get any better, it's time that we stop searching externally for help and tap into ourselves and communities to change the trajectory in which we are heading. The story you have, the places you've been, the highs and lows that you've experienced weren't designed to keep you in a cage. They were designed to show you that you are stronger and more capable of succeeding in whatever avenue you choose. I've come to grips with an important piece of information that I'm not sure most people take seriously. We live in an ever-evolving dimension in which at any given time we can be whoever we want to be. Drake said it best in his Chicago freestyle. I decide what to see next like I'm on demand. I decide what to do next like I'm switching plans. We aren't confined to the life that we are currently in. We aren't confined to our limited experiences. The universe, spirit, numbers, God, whoever you pray to, has strategically put us here with the hopes that we can grow to anything we want. By setting the example, not only are you showing others the way to treat you, you are showing yourself that you are who you say you are. When Coach Lombardi said that leaders are made, not born, he was saying that the adversities we face along our journey are stepping stones to who we were. When Coach Lombardi said leaders were made, not born, he was saying that the adversities we face along our journey are stepping stones to who we were destined to be. Nothing worth having will come overnight. I've been having this conversation with myself lately. It is with consistent action and positive mentality that separates the leaders from the followers. It is the knowledge of the pain that comes with losing that drives the leader to keep everyone on their A game. It is the leader's perseverance that tells his team that no matter what happens, we're going to keep going until we get it right. The adversities we are facing right now are arrows pointing us in the direction of the person that we were destined to be. It is through these tough times that we remain solid in what we believe in and continue to be the light for those around us. We all have our own goals, dreams, and aspirations. And in order for us to reach them, we must be the person we aim to be. Every day, little by little, we should be making strides towards the direction we want our life to go. If we're going to solve any of the world's problems, we must first solve our own. If we want the world to see us as human beings and not a living science experiment, we must set the example on how the world treats us by how we treat ourselves. Don't get me wrong, there are a ton of things that we could say needs changing, but the only true change that's going to mean anything is the change we do within. We were all designed to be kings and queens. We were designed to break free of the shackles that have been placed on us hundreds and thousands of years ago. And in order to tap into what I call that God frequency, we must first believe in ourselves. Without that belief, we can't lead anybody to do anything. Without putting that 10,000 plus hours in ourselves, we can't expect everyone to know how to act unless we show them first. So starting today, let's set the example for our lives by being the example. Every day we wake up, we start with a fresh slate to get it right. I've said this tons of times. Affirmations have helped me overcome my darkest days and remaining focused on who I want to be for everyone in my life. Let's use daily affirmations to ensure that we are choosing life over death. And let's start with these affirmations right now. I am a beacon of positivity. I am leading the life I want to live by taking daily conscious efforts to get better. If I must be better, I must do better. And starting today, I'm going to let my light shine. I'm going to allow my light to show those that come after me the right way to move. As Gal Gadot put it, you can have either results or excuses, not both. It's time that we lead by example and put the work in and be the best version of ourselves. We've listened to the negative voices that told us that we cannot do something. It's time that we let go of those words and listen to our inner voice that reminds us that we can do something. As we approach the end of the season, if we haven't already, it's time that we make the decision to be great. I will end this episode by a powerful line that I heard from Killer Mike as I was writing this episode. And he said, either you're going to choose to be excellent and you're going to do better, or you're going to sit your chump ass down and keep being the same shit over and over. So with that being said, that concludes episode 78 of season 5. I hope something was said in this episode to light a match under your butt to be excellent. We weren't sitting here to be average. We weren't sitting here to have the government have control over our everyday life. We weren't sitting here to be reminded of what isn't possible, but to prove to ourselves, and not only prove to ourselves, but prove to the world of what is possible. So, as always, man, that ends today's episode. Be sure to subscribe to the campaign via tsbe.org. Be sure to stay up to date by not only subscribing to the platform on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, but also following the campaign on social media as well at the Roll Up Podcast. Season 5 merch collection does end on December 31st, and then we're going to roll out that Season 6 merch collection on 1/1/25. As always, man, roll that shit up for your boy. Get lifted, stay inspired. It's your guy. Peace.